You guys, good morning. It's Coffee with Shanda. I'm so bummed my coffee is sitting over there in the kitchen. Super bummed about that. But anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. As you guys are jumping on, I'll say hello, hello, hello. I want to talk to you about transitioning into your best self offer on this morning's Coffee with Shanda. So as people are jumping on, just say hi. Hi, Julie Surratt, Alex Arriaga. Hey, you guys on Instagram. What's up? Hi, Kari. How are you? Good morning. Hello, hello. Awesome. So I have been up since midnight. Aren't I crazy? Here's the deal, though. I have been up since midnight, not because of worry or stress, but actually because I have been so fired up about just continuing to focus on how I can help more people. So we have all these incredible projects happening inside of Heartcore. In fact, I'll be doing a free training on Thursday, which is in the description, if you want me to help you grow your business. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you about transitioning into offers. You know that space where you do a webinar or you do a video or you write like a letter or an email or a video sales letter, and you're like, how do I make an offer and how do I language it right? How do I say it right? What are the perfect words? What's the right copy? And how do I get people to just take it and go after it, right? Essentially, you need that to happen in order for you to make a ton of money. So with that being said, I want to talk to you about that, because I think that it's a place of where people actually fall apart. It's like you do all this work to figure out what's my offer, what's the difference I make in the world, and then you're courageous enough to get out of your own way and start working your business and making offers, which is super risky. And then what happens is it kind of falls apart at the offer. So I'm not going to go into specifically how to make offers, but I'm going to talk about how to transition into offers this morning. So would that help a little bit? If that would help, just say hello. Yes, that would help. And that would be great. Awesome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Jenna. Good morning, Kari. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Sherry Clark. Remember when I used to say your name wrong all the time? Good morning, Lemma. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Laura. Awesome. Okay, good. May. Yes. Okay. Okay. So let me get into like transitioning into making offers. So first and foremost, before you go into an offer, you've got to be good at your generosity and giving in your content. Okay, so if you only give content that that people cannot have a, like people don't have a transformation with, I don't care if you're selling clothing, if you're trying to get reps to sell your multi-level marketing company, or if you're a coach or consultant or financial advisor or real estate agent, whatever you are, right? Therapist, I have a ton of therapists that come work with me. It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't give your best stuff on your free trainings, like if I didn't give you great stuff on Coffee with Shanda, you wouldn't be going and hitting share right now. You wouldn't be, commenting. You wouldn't be showing up at 6 a.m. You wouldn't be doing those things, right? You just wouldn't be showing up. There's some people that I see morning after morning after morning. You're my ambitious, hungry people. I love people like you. I mean, you're my 12 a.m.ers, meaning that the same type of energy that got me up at 12 a.m. to study my craft and practice. I mean, I spent almost 3 hours this morning reworking a webinar that I've already put, I think the last calculation is I was just over 80 hours on this webinar. So I just share that with you because I've done a ton of webinars, a ton of them, but I'm committed to this one being the best. And so, I keep changing things and tweaking things and making it better. I change the transition into an offer so things are different. Like this Thursday, I'm going to be doing a big give versus a big sale. And so, I play with those type of things so that I can become masterful. And so the same energy that has you show up on Coffees with Shanda, some of you guys, it's late at night because I have people that message me in my inbox on Facebook that are from Denmark, that are from Russia, that are from like all over the world, right? And it's cool because we get to impact you all over the world because of this. But let's be honest, if I wasn't giving good content, if I wasn't being generous and giving, you wouldn't be watching. So part of the challenge of an influencer is you got to figure out how do you become compelling to your audience. Once you figure that out, which is another Facebook Live, it's actually how do you actually, transition into an offer where it doesn't get weird and the right people stay on. So the best way that I found that I could teach you this, there's lots of ways to do it, but if you watch top influencers, really watch top influencers and what they're doing. First of all, watch them, then disconnect from like watching like everything that they send out, because you'll get enrolled with lots of shiny objects all over the place. Lots of my clients, the way that I scaled them is I told them to get off everybody's email list for a short period of time so I could help them grow. And then what happens is they go get back on everybody's email list because they would rather be distracted with finding out new strategies to build their business. And what happens is they let go of the strategy that they're doing to create really big email lists, right? And then what they find is they're back at square one again with a new strategy, and they're going to spend the next 4 years trying to build a new strategy, right? So versus get the email list up to 100,000, like just get it up. Do you know what I mean? Like put all your attention on that, get it up. But what they do is once you become a top influencer, if you watch them, you'll see that they have a system when they transition into an offer. And it's just human behavior and human psychology. And so basically what you want to think of is everybody has two options. So I'll give you some examples on this. One of my favorite transitions into an offer is, so I taught all the content, right? So again, that's a whole nother training. Come to the Zone event. I'll teach you how to do that type of stuff at the Zone event, but I'm not going to teach it on this Facebook Live right now. You do all your content, you do it really well, you do it very generously, but you also have to be, closing your entire content. Like during your entire content of teaching, you actually have to be closing. Because if you don't, believe it or not, people don't want to just hear great, generous content. They actually have to be influenced. You have to become a really strong leader to get a point across so that not only do people hire you, they stay with you long term and they renew with you long term. Will you keep 100% of your clients or your customers or your reps renewed for a lifetime? No. But if you're really good, you will find out that 10 years later, you will have a core group of clients that will be your biggest success stories that everybody wants to be like because they stuck it out with you. And that will have a lot to do with your leadership to be able to keep their minds straight in the game, to keep ordering from you. Again, it doesn't matter if you're selling essential oils or you're selling Lululemon clothes, which hold their clients forever, free people, or you're selling jewelry, or you're selling personal stylists, or you're selling coaching, consulting, whatever it is. You have to have a baseline of really strong leadership, and you have to know how to sell really well, because if you don't, you'll get great content. People will say, oh my God, I love your content, but they don't buy. Well, that's because you're still a shitty leader. I mean that with love, but it's true. It's because you still haven't figured out how to lead somebody through your content to be able to take the offer. Okay, so know that it's okay to be a shitty leader. I have spent years becoming a great leader. Your personal development is the number one thing. You should never say, I've done so much work on myself, I don't want to anymore, right? Like you never ever want to say that word. In fact, like if you're saying that word or saying that sentence, you really need to invest in yourself around this conversation, because you've actually stopped your growth as an influencer, which means that your money will start reversing or slow down because your clients are going to outgrow you. Okay. So let's get to the transition. You've delivered the content of whatever your marketing piece is, right? Now you come to the offer. It's really important your transition into the offer is done very smoothly. It's done where people can see themselves in a vision and they can follow your storyline versus an abrupt, there's the offer, right? You don't want to have an abrupt, there's the offer. You want to transition people into the offer. So here are some of my favorite ways, and now you'll be able to see this with all top influencers. Some of my favorite ways, oh, I thought my son was up. Some of my favorite ways are to, one of my favorite offers, and the first one that I got really good at that I used for about a year, feel free to steal it, okay? I would say there's two types of people in the world. There's creators or there's seekers and there's creators. Seekers signifies the less than. Creators signify the hero, the person that somebody actually wants to be, right? So seeker is like, and when you see me build it out, you'll see, you'll see it's clear. So there are two types of people in the world. There are seekers and there are creators. So there are losers and there are winners. There are struggling, there are freedom, there are, talented, and there are rich, right? And so there's the two sides. And what happens in society, and you have to know this, is many people reward themselves on the back for being a seeker. Because being a seeker or a loser or a struggler, right? All of the piece on the left side, those people reward themselves, and society does this, for just being hard workers, for just being loving human beings. They actually believe that a basic standard of being a decent human being is really a standard that they should be like patted on the back for. And I want you to hear this, because you're battling this in your company to make an influence, to impact the world, to get more people to actually take a risk and buy your product or your service that's going to make a difference for them. You're battling this in their mind because they really do believe that they are incredible. They are incredible human beings, but they are, because they're being incredible, decent human beings, they actually believe that that's enough. But it's not, because they still feel this gap, which is the bridge to the creator, right? They still feel this gap. And the gap is the pressure, right? The pressure that and the dreams, and there's this huge gap to get to the dreams. Well, a really top influencer never looks at the gap, to be quite honest. They actually are always looking at how far they've come. That's why they are filled with vitality and energy. That's why you think, oh my God, how can that person go all the time? How can Shanda be up at midnight? Not because I'm stressed out. I don't have to get up at midnight. You know what I mean? I don't have to get up at midnight. In fact, in my web class on Thursday, I'm actually going to share my calendar and how there's nothing on it for the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's open as I'm just creating. By the way, my zone content is done. I'm just going over it right now to make it better, right? But it's done. And so I have all this open space. Friday, I have a film crew coming to my house. That's about the only thing on my calendar. I have a film crew coming to my house because we're announcing somebody who won my Porsche, who I have no idea who it was. And we're going to do a Facebook Live on Friday morning, and I'm going to announce who this Porsche winner is in the whole context of the contest, right? I just have all this space. But I work really hard because I used to be a seeker and now I'm a creator, and I'm really good at handling pressure in my head. So I don't feel the rat race, right? Do I feel the pull to get on my computer or my iPhone? Yes, I do. But that's about being compelled. That's a drive. We need to not make our drives wrong. We need to actually just become a creator and get really good at our systems, get really good at taking really smart risk, and get really good at following the same process all the way through hard to the other side, to freedom. And not come up with another. Every time you add a strategy into your company, by the way, you are starting at year one, day one, month one, and you have the same amount of stretch in front of you to master it. Okay? So back to the transition. So you have seekers, you have losers, you have strugglers, or you have creators, winners, freedom. And if you could paint these two stories in a transition before you ever ask somebody to invest money with you, you will find that your close ratio will go up. So here's what it looks like. So I've taught the content. So I found that there's two types of people in this world. There are seekers and there are creators. Seekers are people who work really hard. They know that they're good people. They're studying every Wayne Dyer book, every Marianne Williamson book, A Course in Miracles. They know every personal development, law of attraction, formula on the planet, and they work really hard to create it. And they've had these spikes in their life where they think, oh my God, I can feel it. It's going to happen. I can feel it. It's right there. I can feel it. And then they take these big risks that don't work out. And they find themselves back in this lull of shit, that was hard. and it didn't work out again. And seekers are always on this path where they rinse and repeat this cycle of seeking. And they constantly think the new thing, the new Facebook Live, the new thing that they see is going to be the thing that gets them there because somebody's doing it, somebody's doing it and they're rocking it out. And so they think that if they were to just do that and study that they can actually rock it out. But really what the challenge is they haven't crossed the bridge. And the bridge of personal development into becoming a creator means that when you set a goal, it happens. When you set a goal, it happens and you're not stressed out. When you stop setting realistic goals and you start setting unrealistic goals and you start hitting them in short periods of time, you start impacting the world. There's thousands and millions of dollars flowing in the door on a yearly basis. Some people, it's a monthly basis. Some people, it's a weekly basis because they've transitioned from being a seeker where they constantly just were chasing new ideas and they crossed the bridge to realize that it's the game of personal development. It's the game of personal responsibility. It's the game of staying on the same plan for a decade to become wildly successful and hit the road to freedom. It's about becoming a creator. And so what I want to talk to you about today is how I'm the bridge for seekers to become creators. And the way that I help people do that is through my XYZ program. Okay? Then you go into the details of the program. So I'm not going to go into the offer again. I'm just teaching you transitions right now, right? So a little tweak at a time inside your business and when you make offers will come together to create a quantum leap. Don't try and focus on like every part of mastering your marketing to be able to succeed. Tweak your success, right? So the number one thing is build the audience. I'm going to teach that on my web class on Thursday, right? Watch it. If you don't have an audience, if you don't have 100,000 people who are following you in an email list, if you don't have 5,000 people following you on an email list, you need to go click the link in the description of the Facebook right now, helpmeshanda.com/live and go watch me on Thursday about that. But the transition, you'll see me do a transition. I'm not actually making a big offer on that training. I'm making a tiny offer on that training, something I've never, ever done before, but you're going to see the offer is the same way. Here's another way. I did an event and I talked about my husband doing the Ironman, and I talked about the story of him doing the Ironman, and the transition into the offer was, there were all these people, the backstory is there's all these people doing an Ironman. There's 87-year-old men, 65-year-old women. Like, I'm just sitting there going, wow, right? So I'm not going to go in the story of all of that, but we were all in an emotional state about the Ironman. Right? And so there were all these people who crossed. The moral of the story is there were all these people who crossed. And when you cross the finish line as an Ironman, they actually say, there's a big announcer that says, "You are an Ironman!" And the crowd goes wild. And the participants and the attendees just feel the energy of what it took to become an Ironman, like who they had to become in the process, right? And then there's all these people who finish after time's out, like time's over, like they didn't make the mark, the webinar didn't work, the video didn't work, the emails didn't work, like all the walls that you hit, but they still finished and they get congratulations, you completed. So the transition from that story is, so the question is do you want to just be someone who completes, or do you want to be somebody who is a finisher? And then you go into the offer, right? So you'll see this in every single top influencer that really knows what they're doing. They are constantly giving an analogy of like. It's this like this, it's this like this. And there's always two options, right? You can keep doing it on your own forever, doing it the hard way, doing it alone, trying to figure it out, waiting to make more money before you invest. Or you can cross the bridge and come over here and let me help you, or we can speed up this process where you can blah, 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? And then you go into the offer stack. So I wanted to share that with you because I think sometimes when you're writing your emails or you're doing your videos, or you're doing your webinars, you're not spending enough time thinking about a transition into your offer. And I'm hoping that this piece will help you just stop and think about your transition into your offer a little bit differently so that you can have some sort of an uplift. I mean, maybe it's an extra client, maybe it's a new rep for your multi-level marketing company. Maybe, maybe it's a conversation with someone like a virtual assistant or your sales team or, anybody in your life, right? Your husband. And you can think about a transition before you ever ask somebody to do something, so that they get it, so that it lands. So to be an effective marketer, to be an effective influencer, you must land. It's not just about the perfect words on the offer. It's not just about being generous in the perfect content. All of these things need to come together. But if you just start from being really generous and you think about transitions a little bit more, I think you're going to find that your life, your business, your success in landing with people will start to become that much more powerful. So I hope that this was a good 6 a.m. coffee with Shanda. I'm going to go grab my coffee. I'm actually going to go call a great friend of mine this morning and have a conversation about personal development as well. And because I'm always on the quest for it. And if it wasn't for my personal development getting stronger and stronger all the time, honestly, I'm not an influencer that will ever stand in front of you and say that I've figured it all out, that I'm too good to do more work on myself. And I am always daily, and not even just daily, I am annually investing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in my education. And it makes a difference. So God bless you. Good luck today. Hope this helps. And if you would be so kind as to share with me what your biggest takeaway was on this 6 a.m. coffee with Shanda, I would love to hear it. That stuff fills me up. That's why I do this. And that'd be awesome. So if you could be generous and share that with me, that'd be great. All right, you guys, I'll see you on 6 a.m. coffee with Shanda tomorrow. Bye.